The last song Nirvana recorded was with you and Adam. It was "You Know You're Right." Were you in the studio when they were recording the song? And if so, what were your thoughts on it?
The whole time I was here, Assistant Adam Casper, I just, I remember the steel drums they were using in the intro of the song. Remember it at the end of the song. I remember that the timing had to be right. I remember Kurt coming in and on that Sunday when he got here, he was doing some vocals and then his back was hurting, and so he brought that that fur light brown coat that he wore. That was draped over the island down there. And I went, wow, man. It was like, wow, can I touch it? Whatever, But he would come out in the studio and lay on the hard granite marble floor. And his back was in some pain. And so, that may have had something to do with some of the lyrics. They were writing, they had done some tracking, him and Chris, before, of course. Kurt showed up, and it was like I say, he came in first. He tried doing some vocals. They used an SM58, and they did something to where they hooked up the speakers by his head backwards, like out of phase, and so it canceled each other out. So it gave this whole new kind of thing to where he really. They were trying different things, different tricks and stuff that Adam had, and it was really cool. But then we went up and had some pizza, and I heard the story, and then it came back, and the whole session, we worked probably till up to midnight, 1 in the morning, something like that. But what an experience, This place definitely went down in history, and that it was that led into Dave Grohl coming back and doing that. The first Foo Fighter record with the ray gun on it, and and that was pretty damn cool. I think he had Greg Dooley of the Afghan Wigs come in and do some guitar solo on that. But other than that, Dave crunched out like 17 songs in 5 days. I've never seen anything like it. He played everything.
I know you have a long relationship with Dave Grohl. Did it start with the "You Know You're Right" session?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And how was that experience for you, that session? From what I know, it was 3 days, correct?
Yeah, 3 days, the 28th of January, 1994, 29th and 30th. And Kurt showed up on that Sunday. He should have been on Saturday, but they didn't know. Chris and Dave did not know whether he's going to show up or not. And until 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, the 30th of January, they got the phone call. And Chris hightailed it out of here and went to go down to Madison Park and picked him up and brought him out. And I'll never forget that, because we went out and had pizza up the street here, and Kurt started talking about, he had a big concert where Eddie Van Halen showed up backstage and was a drunk fool. So Kurt had him, basically the security, get him out. And so I heard that story firsthand with Kurt. Hearing it coming from Kurt was like that really stuck in my head. You know what I mean? That really, so it was like one of those things.
Now, if I may ask, was that the first time you met Kurt during the sessions?
Yep. Yeah. That was the first time.
So the 2 days where it was just Dave and Chris, was the vibe different than when it was Dave, Chris, and Kurt the last day?
Not really. It was outside, maybe a little more serious, on Sunday, because I think they were like maybe possibly surprised that Kurt got a hold of them on that Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They really, it seemed to me that they had a direct line between, of course, Chris and Dave. They kind of knew what they were doing, of course, the professional people that they are, and they almost like there's this mystical roadmap that they had, and they weren't writing music out, they were just going out their feelings. At least I didn't see them writing stuff down. Maybe a note or so in the background, what the song's name was, something like that. But they were pretty incredible. Just those 2 days before Kurt came. I mean, they just, I think they got about 4 tracks down.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff, like instrumental stuff down.
Yeah. So it was, like I say, it was unbelievable to see them doing that. Dave Grohl lived up the street his wife Jennifer worked at the QFC up here, so that's basically what brought Dave in the neighborhood. And so he had a house right up, not that far away, up in the edge of Innisharden. So that was pretty cool. And Dave used to come down here with his go-karts. Him and Jennifer would come down in go-karts, and then they would leave one here, and Adam Casper and I would be driving the go-karts around the block, around the neighborhood. And, I think everybody knows who Adam Casper is, I would think. And he's been famous for producing Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Queens of Stone Age, the list goes on. I miss him dearly, and he had moved up to Friday Harbor, and I think he's somewhere up in Issaquah somewhere. But anyhow, cool guy, really, really cool dude. So, Jack Endino's been here. He's been, just an incredible person. He's been really he's the godfather of grunge. John Plum, these guys that you've interviewed, London Bridge, all those guys over there, they're my great friends. And John's brought some sessions over here, and Jeff Ott used to work with me here. Eric's an awesome dude, really in the musical scene, which is good. That's something that I never, ever got into, such as what Rick Parashar was doing at London Bridge, doing, Three Doors Down, Nickelback. He did the first Pearl Jam record, I think it was 10. That's something that I didn't have time to, because I'm not really super musical. I'm just more a visionary and a guy that likes to pick up a hammer and put a belt, carpenter belt on and work.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that over the years doing these interviews that I actually have gained a lot of respect for the scene is that, as you mentioned, you guys all know each other. You're all friends, and there really is this sense of community, which I admire, and I think it's really cool that you guys all have each other's backs like that. You know what I mean? Exactly.
It's so cool because everybody wants everybody to succeed, and it is a tight community, Daniel. You're right, very much.
When did you eventually hear the completed version of You Know You're Right?
It wasn't until after Courtney decided to let them release it. I was starting to wonder, what's going to happen to this? I just wanted to make sure that, I had some type of credit on that record. And so I was just if you don't stay proactive with the record companies, and like I was doing the Desire Dreams On or something like that with her heart, Desire, and it's if you don't stay proactive, a couple of years go on, you don't get any credit. They just forget about you. You know what I mean? Like what I did with the heart situation. The only thing that got credit on that was King Sunny a Day. The Talking Drums came in for a song called Voodoo they did here. But getting on back on the phone call when I put down to, I think, John Silva's management, making sure that I had credits on You Know You're Right. They said, "Oh, Robert, don't worry. Don't worry about the credits. You're going to be surprised." And so, I waited, and then, of course, the box set, when we got the box set, they sent it up to me. You open it up and pulled it out, and there's our house that's on the inside cover of it. So that was very, 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 very cool. Very cool.